Hi guys, Pig Snowballer here, and here I'm looking at the Razer Naga 2014. Now, first thing up, it's a pretty big mouse, and like MMO mice, it's got the switches on the side, mechanical switches, much easier to depress than before, and you can see that they're all angled differently, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to find your way. The shape is really nice, the contours on the side here and the edges, really nice touch. The lighting's a bit softer. They've gone for rubberized grip on the side. It's the first time I've seen that on a Razer mouse. It's extremely nice. All of the surfaces on this mouse feel superb. They're sort of rubberized sort of grip, very easy to pick up. Positioning is very easy. I find the Deathadder a little bit difficult to keep my pinky off the ground, and same with the Naga, but this thing's perfect. At the bottom we see a lot of Teflon pads here, and a laser sensor. You can see this sort of grill thing here. It doesn't look too great. The other thing you may notice is that the cord is a little bit closer to the mouse pad. I like to make sure the cord is off the mouse pad when I'm gaming. So that's perhaps a sort of a downgrade from the original Naga. You can see here the difference between the switches quite prominent. The speed at which you can actually actuate the switches is very different. You can slam these keys much faster. The only thing I can say though is in MMO, you're not really clicking these things that fast. You know, once every GCD, it's really not that big of an issue. That being said, my hand doesn't get any cramps like when I use the Naga 2012. Cleaning wise, we'll see. The 2012 was quite hard to clean. Another improvement from the Naga 2014 is the mouse wheel actually has a side to side to click now. As you can see that the Naga 2014 was based off the side panel of the 2012, but only if you use the 2012 with the medium-sized grip. But there is an improvement because on the medium-sized grip on the Naga, my pinky actually hits the ground, while on the 2014 it's very easy to stay all on top of the mouse and not having your pinky drag on the mouse pad. The surfaces said they're all rubberized. The issue of having your fingers drag on the mouse pad is because sometimes you do drag and sometimes you don't, and it can really throw off your aiming if you're not consistent. Weight-wise, the 2014 is considerably lighter, very similar to the Deathadder 2013. Naga 2012, quite a heavy mouse. Another downgrade is that the interchangeable side panels. That being said, I personally use the medium-sized one, which is exactly what they put onto the Naga 2014 anyway. On the rear side, we can see that the configuration changed heavily, that we're missing the number pad switch. So it could switch from the top numbers to the number pad. I found that the number pad switch was pretty much useless because you're trying to use the numbers in combination of Shift, Control, and Alt, but you have it switched to the number pad mode, it doesn't actually work. So it's a feature that they ditched, and I probably said rightfully so. I wasted a lot of time on that feature and got infuriated with it. It just didn't work. I think it's a thing with Windows or Mac OS X, same thing. That being said, trying to pick up this mouse, it's very easy to depress the button, so that's a positive, but it can also be a negative. I found myself initially having a lot of mistakes when I picked up the mouse and accidentally clicking, but after time, I pretty much don't do that anymore. But it does require holding the mouse in a very different way to 2012. So here we have it up alongside the Deathadder. Size-wise, they're much more similar. So the 2012 was a much smaller mouse. Weight-wise, the Deathadder and the 2014 Naga are very similar. Glide performance, though, the Deathadder is still king. 2012 was quite grippy, so aiming around was quite, I said grippy. 2014 is much better. It's very close to the Deathadder, but it still actually has quite a lot of grip. So I would say that that's a real attraction to the Deathadder, is that it's very fast in terms of sliding around. And the reason for that is pretty obvious here. You can see that there is far less non-slip on the actual Deathadder, so less surface touching the ground. Also, what I noticed was that it's actually quite hard to hold the 2014 at the tips of your fingers like you would the Deathadder, so you end up palming it. So it's a very different holding style compared to the Deathadder, and that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. The Deathadder uses an optical sensor versus a laser sensor, and It said that optical sensors have certain acceleration issues, but I have more trouble than I did, but it's not really a problem. Overall though, I do think that the Deathadder is a little bit better. It supports a fingertip grip just that little bit better. The mouse cord is just that little bit higher off the ground. It has the side buttons, which you're more safely able to use as utility buttons. So in Battlefield I use it for weapon selection 1 and 2, and mouse wheel is to span my medpack bags. But quite frankly, a Deathadder is a better mouse for FPS, but if I had to live with only one mouse, I would pick the Naga 2014 over any other mouse on the market. And I think that's about as good as result as you can get. If it was my only mouse, would I use it? Yes, absolutely. If I didn't play any MMOs, what mouse would I pick? I'd have to say I'd probably pick up the Deathadder. That being said, I think Deathadder might actually be cheaper as well. So horses for courses, I guess. So absolutely a gold star rating from me. It's a huge improvement over the 2012. Feels much better, looks much better, and definitely performance-wise, it's excellent. It's very hard to discern the difference between this and a Deathadder when playing. But as I said, for that last nth degree of goodness in an FPS, Deathadder is extremely strong, so it is bested by that. Alright guys, I'll see you around, have fun.